Welcome back to a brand new live episode of the Riff Rundown. My name is Angela Petrilli. So excited to be spending a Saturday with all of you. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm going to be teaching all of you how to play Redemption Song by Bob Marley, one of my favorite tunes. This is a really fun one to play. Have your acoustic guitar in standard tuning for this one. Again, this one's geared towards my beginners and intermediates who are watching today. But for my advanced folks who are watching, I'm sure you can learn a thing or two as well. All right, so as always, before we really get started here, folks, let me know where you are tuning in from, all right? And let me know a song that makes you happy. So let me know that. Awesome. So where are you tuning in from and a song that makes you happy? So folks, here we go. Here's Redemption Song by Bob Marley. Glad everything is sounding great. This is going to be a lot of fun. So here we go. We're going to be learning all the parts, all that good stuff. You guys know how these go. This is going to be a lot of fun. So as always, I like to know where everyone's tuning in from. Thank you all so much for being here. All right, what do we got today before we get started? Let's see. We got Glasgow in the house, Bologna, Italy, one of my favorite parts of Italy to visit. Vincenzo, piacere. I hope you're having a great time. We're going to have a lot of fun with this song today. We got New Jersey in the house. We got Virginia, San Jose, California, Anchorage, Alaska, Allen, very cool, very, very cool. We got Michigan here, British Columbia, beautiful British Columbia. Thank you for being here. All right, we got Florida, we got Boston. Love going to Boston. All right, thank you all for tuning in. This is great. Oh my gosh, all around the world. We got Germany too. We got Dallas in the house. Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I love it there too. Love it there too. All right, so let's go ahead and get started here. Again, we're going to be going through note by note, chord by chord, part by part, all of that good stuff. This one definitely, as I mentioned at the top, is geared towards my beginners and intermediates. But yeah, this is such a fun song. I'm so glad. I'm seeing a lot of thumbs up for this tune. I'm glad. I got a lot of requests for this, and it's one that I really love to play. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at the top, the intro, that riff, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it up into 4 parts, and then as a level 2, I'm going to give you an option for the very, very end riff as like a level 2 with some like harmony stuff. All right, so let's go ahead and break this down from the very, very top. I'm going to do the intro with no clams that I had in the beginning. As I like to say, you know, I don't charge extra for the mistakes, so there we go. So let's go ahead. I'm going to play this intro again, and then we're going to break it down note by note. So here we go. notice the back, the final parts, right? They're a little bit different, but I'll talk you through it. All right, so let's look at part 1 here. So this is part 1. So let's look at that. So we're going to start on that G note here. Place your second finger there. Okay, 3rd fret of the E string. It's our G note. So from there, open A string. Now we're going to do this kind of, it sounds like he's sliding it. Like that. So what we're going to do here, very light touch. Like that. All right? So, first finger, get on the 1st fret, and lightly slide it to the 2nd. So from that B flat to B. Like that. Okay, so. And then we're going to play a G note again. So, here we go. Nice and slowly here. Just like that. Now, I've seen some videos too where it sounds like a hammer-on, so I will leave that up to you guys. You can do that too. Again, we don't want it to sound too precise, if that makes sense here. Like there's a little bit, think of it like a little skip. All right, so that kind of like a little bit of a jump. That's what we're looking for there. So either slide in from that 1st fret of the A string to the 2nd fret, or do the hammer-on. Or the hammer-on. Okay, so we'll leave that up to you. Okay, we got folks asking if this is live. Yes, sir, we are live today. So happy you guys are here. So let's go ahead and look at part 2. Part 2 is going to sound like this. Okay, again, those little skips and those little jumps in the way that we are articulating these notes. We're not doing that. We're sliding into them. Okay, so let's talk about how to do this. So we're going to do here, for that 1st fret, we're doing that little slide again. Get your 2nd finger, 2nd fret of that A string. Okay, we're going to slide that up from B, 2nd fret of the A string, to C. Strike the note 1 time. Give it enough muscle, okay, so that we can hear both of those notes, that B sliding into C. Now, with the 1st finger, we're going to do the same sort of thing. 1st finger, place that on the 1st fret of that D string, sliding up to E, 2nd fret of the D string. Okay, so it's going to be like this. Let's do that again. And notice how we're playing 4 notes, but we're only plucking the strings twice. 1, 2. Okay, so just like that. So, after that, we're going to have the open D string. 1st finger on that 2nd fret, the A string there, that's going to be B, reaching up with a 2nd finger, okay, placing that on G, 3rd fret of the E string, just like that, okay? So that's part 1 of part 2. So let's play these together. I'm going to do it slowly, and then we'll build up the speed, all right? And again, this is a live Q&A too, so if you guys have questions when we have those moments within this lesson here today, I'm happy to answer some of those for you, all right? So here we go. Part 1, part 2. Okay, we're going to do that a few times here. Here we go. See how nicely this all sits in the hand, okay? And again, alternate picking here is going to really, really help with this as well. Okay, so here we go. Now, let's look at the 3rd part. It's going to sound like this. So, Pretty cool, super easy, okay? Open A string. Get that first finger, slide it to the first fret, to the second fret of that A string, so that B flat, A sharp to B, okay? Open D string, B, C, B, A, G. Okay? I'm going to do this part nice and slowly here, okay? Notice how I didn't say the fret markers. Going by the notes. It's an important thing, too, with these lessons. I want you guys to not fear the fretboard. Let's talk about where these notes live, okay? So here we go, nice and slowly here. Take your time. Okay? Just like that. All right? So let's do part 1, part 2, part 3, and then we'll go into that final ending. That's a little bit different, okay? So here we go. Let's do that again. Okay? Pretty friendly little riff. It's a lot of fun. So, he repeats this. He repeats part 1, part 2. Mr. Bob Marley. Awesome, awesome guy. Parts 1 and parts 2 are going to be repeated. So we're going to do this again. However, the next part's a little different. It sounds like this. There's a bit of a rest, okay? And we're taking away one note. We're taking away a B, okay? So it's going to sound like this. Open A string, again, sliding from that first fret, that B, that A sharp B flat, to the second fret of B. Open D string, C, third fret of the A string, B, second fret of the A string, A, open A string, okay, it's a G, third fret of the A string, just like that. All right, so now we're going to do here, I'm going to do part 1, and then I'm going to do part 2 with this ending. And then what I'm going to do here, after that, I'm going to give you a level 2 of the ending with some harmony that I think sounds really, really pretty. And I know when I play it live, I like to do it like that. All right, so here we go, nice and slowly here, the whole intro. Okay, so here we go. Don't forget to alternate pick. Okay, let's do that one more time and then we'll look at level 2. That alternate picking, top, bottom of the string, okay? Again, alternating, one note gets the top, the next note is plucked from the bottom of the string, okay? So for the last bit of the intro, it would sound something like this. This is kind of a level 2 thing. I'll play it a little bit slower so you can hear this, okay? So it's gonna sound like this. Kind of a neat little thing, okay? So I'll do it again at a little bit of a faster speed. Okay? So here's how we do this. Notice how I'm not going. I'm adding some harmony. It's kind of cool. So this is level 2. Something to think about if you want to like maybe change it up a little bit. Okay? So what we're going to do here, open A string, sliding into B from the A string, first fret to the second fret, there's B. Open D string, back get to B, but here's what we're gonna do now. Place your first finger on E, 2nd fret of the D string. Get your 2nd finger, 3rd fret of the A string. Pluck them together. Okay, that's C and E, they're thirds. Yes, there's gonna be some hybrid picking here. I see that in the comments. Do not fear, do not fear. Go ahead and place the pick, all right, on the A string, your middle finger, okay, plucking upwards on that D string, like that, just like that. Now, next part, first finger, placing that on the 2nd fret of the A string, that's B, and then you have D together. So like that. Okay? Now, get your 2nd finger here, place that on G. Your 3rd finger, place it on C. Those are 4ths, G and C. Play those together again, the alternate or the hybrid picking here. And then we go back to our thirds, G and B, B being on the 2nd fret of the A string. And then this leads really nicely because guess what? A G chord is next. And we barely have to do anything because our fingers are already ready to go, at least the top 2 fingers here. See what I mean? So it would be something like this. In leading into the G chord, just to give you guys a little context, it would be something like this. And then we get right into that G chord, okay? So that's the intro. That's the intro. I really wanted to break that down. I wanted you guys to see all of those notes and all of that good stuff. And again, just the little things in there, right? The touches that make it sound really, really great. All right. So again, this is a live Q&A, folks. Someone's asking if those are thirds. Yes, we got some thirds and fourths in there, in those harmonies. Yes, indeed. All right. So let's go ahead and look at the verse. Here's the verse, okay? And this is verse 1. That's what's happening there. Let's look at those chords. The chords are pretty simple, right? As I mentioned at the top, beginner, intermediate lesson here today, but again, a really, really beautiful, beautiful song. Okay, so we've got our G chord here. This is the way that I like to play it, as I mentioned in a lot of these lessons. First finger, 2nd fret of the A string, that's your B note. Your 2nd finger, 3rd fret of the E string, that's G. Your 3rd finger placing that on the 3rd fret of the B string, that note is D, and then the 4th finger placed on G, 3rd fret of the E string, strum everything. Now, when I was watching Bob do it, I believe it was one of his live concerts, he chose to play, I saw him playing G like this. So instead of your 3rd finger being on the D note, just place your 3rd finger on the G right here, 3rd fret of that E string. So I'll leave that up to you. I know this one I like. This is the one I like to use. But if you want to use this one, that's okay too. We're still getting G, B, and D, the 1, 3, 5 of that chord in this version or this version. Okay? So I'll leave that up to you and up to your ear and your preference, okay? So we've got that. Then after that, we have an E minor, okay? E, G, and B are 1, flat 3, 5. Those are our target centers here. Place your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the A string. That note is B. And your 3rd finger placing that on the 2nd fret of the D string. That note is E. Strum everything. Okay. So that's there. We've got our C chord here. Okay. First finger on the 1st fret of that B string. Your 2nd finger reaching up 2nd fret of the D string. That note is E. 3rd finger reaching. I know for my beginners this is a tough chord, but don't worry. Practice, practice, practice. Okay, 3rd fret of that A string is C. All right, just like that. That's what's happening there. Then the next chord is going to be a G over B. And don't worry, we're going to do all the strumming here. Just want to make sure you got all these chords before we get into it. So G over B, this is the way that I like to play it. Get your first finger here, okay? Placing that on the B note, okay? Your third finger is going to play D, third fret of that B string. Fourth finger goes down on G, third fret of the E string. Now what you're going to do here, strum everything but this low E, okay? So just like that, and then we go to an A minor. A, C, and E are our target points, 1, flat, 3, 5, A, C, E. First finger, first fret of that B string. There's your C note, okay? Second finger reaching up, again, keeping our fingers nice and curled here. We want that second finger on the second fret of that D string. That note is E, that's our 5. And then your third finger is playing the root of A on the second fret of that G string. You're gonna go ahead and strum the bottom 5 strings, or these 5 strings, A downward except the E string. Just like that, okay? So, here are the chords in context. Just like that. As you notice, when I like to play, big like strumming stuff, I like to strum from the elbow, okay? I know some of you like to strum from the wrist. If that's comfortable for you, awesome, great. I love the sustain that a wide strum brings. That's why I like to choose to do it. But again, I'm planting the seeds with these lessons, folks. Planting the seeds. And again, if you guys are enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel. It helps the cause and all that good stuff. Share these lessons with a friend. All right, so we've got G. Just like that. Let the pick do the work for you. Don't feel the need to want to dig in. We don't want to hear all those peaks and valleys of the strings. Let the pick do the work for you. Again, this is the cheapest amplifier you can buy, okay? So let it do the work for you. Minor to C to G over B, okay, to A minor. I'm going to strum that nice and slowly. Here we go. Between these chords, I'm getting some open strings. That's totally okay. That's totally okay. I'll speed it up a little bit so you can see those. So those gaps between those chords with the open strings brings a lot of character. It's really cool on this, and you can really hear it in the recording. All right, so here we go. A little faster. There's that open strings. Hear it? Let's do this again. Time for good luck. Okay, so those series of chords, that sequence, G, E minor, C, G over B to A minor, we're gonna play that 3 times. And this is for the first verse. Once we get into verse 2, he changes it just a little bit, but I'll talk you through it. All right, so that's what's happening there. Now the second half of the first verse sounds like this. We've got a G to an E minor to a C to an A minor 7 to D. Okay, so we know 4 out of 5 of those chords we touch on, except the A minor 7. So let's go ahead and talk about that. So think of it this way. Go ahead and play an A minor. All right, lift up your third finger. So there you go. There's A minor 7. Now we think about, okay, what are the notes in this chord and what makes a chord a minor 7 chord? You have to have a 1, you have to have a flat 3, a 5, and a flat 7. In this case, when we lift up this third finger, like that, we're playing that open G right there. That G note, we're playing that in the key of A. G is the flat 7. Okay, and that's what we need. So, pretty cool stuff. So, strumming again, nice and light. E minor, C, A minor 7, to a D major. D major is one we know, but my beginners who are watching, I'll talk you through it. K, D, F sharp, A, 1, 3, 5. Those are the target points here. First finger, second fret of the G string. That note is A. Second finger, second fret of the E string. That's your F sharp. Third finger reaching up to play the D note here. Third fret of the B string. Okay? You want to go ahead and strum from the D string downward. If you happen to catch an A every once in a while, it's okay. We would technically call this a D/A chord, but A is within this chord. So if we get it, it just brings it brings a little bit more depth to the chord. So don't worry if you happen to get that A string in there. Okay? So we're going to do the whole verse here. I'm going to play it nice and slowly. Follow along with how I'm strumming this. Again, nice and light here. All right? Let the pick do the work for you. So here we go. From the top of the verse. Part 2. Okay, just like that. It's good stuff. So that's what's happening there. Then we get into our chorus, okay? So our chorus sounds like this. Again, simple chords. We got a G, C, D, and an E minor. That's what's happening here. It's wonderful. It's beautiful. So we've got, here's the order. Those of you who are taking notes, right? We've got G, C, D, G, C, D, E minor, C, D, and G. That will be repeated twice, the C, D, and G. Okay? And then we go from C to D and then back into a verse. Okay? So nice and slowly here, let's go ahead and talk about these chords here that are in this chorus. So the G chord, our target centers here, G, B, and D. The 1, 3, and 5, we're going to play those, okay? Our C chord, what's the 1, 3, 5? We have C, E, and G. We go to D. What's the 1, 3, 5 there? D, F sharp, A. E minor, since it's a minor chord, right? 1 flat 3, 5. Okay, that's the formula to make a minor chord. It's going to be E, G, and B. All right. That's it, folks. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Very simple chorus. Very simple chorus. All right. So let's go ahead. We're going to do the chorus through. Follow along here, all right? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play it through with the intro. We're going to do an intro, verse, chorus, and then we'll go ahead and get into the instrumental part. We've got a really cool chorus, and then we've got an outro. All right, so we're going to go through that. And again, this is so much fun. Folks, yeah, if you're enjoying these lessons, again, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to check out. I know someone was asking if this has, this Martin has an internal pickup. Sean, the answer is yes, it does. This is a Matrix Infinity Enhance pickup by Fishman that I have in here. I'm also going through the Fishman RS Spectrum DI acoustic imager that I love. That's the silver box that you guys hear me talk about. And then I've got the Loudbox Performer amplifier too, and then that is being plugged into my interface and out to all of you wonderful people. So again, if you guys want to learn more about the Fishman products that I use for these live stream lessons, be sure there's a link in the video description. You could just click on that. So Sean, I hope that answers your question, buddy. So yeah, there you go to find out more. It's good stuff indeed. Good stuff indeed. Okay. So let's go ahead and do this chorus. We're going to run through the whole thing after that, intro, verse, and chorus, and then we'll talk about the second half of the tune, okay? So here we go, just the chorus. Follow along. Let's go ahead and do that again. Here we go, chorus. From the top of the chorus. And again, something too I want to mention as I was playing it the second time, I'm like, God, I want to talk about this. When you're playing a D chord, and you know a G chord is going to be next in the sequence, right? Something I suggest to do, okay, and this is something that I like to do, is keeping in mind the pivot points, right? So what I mean by pivot points are the fingers that chords have in common. So chords that are next to each other, you're like, wait a second, oh yeah, that's C to A minor, for example. Hey, look at that. I don't have to lift up my second or my first finger. That's kind of cool. Why lift up your hand when you're going to put some of those fingers in the same exact place, right? So we want to save some of that energy. So what's happening here when we go from D to G? Keep that third finger. Notice how I can still place this finger here, and I don't see how I don't need to lift it. All right, so keep that in mind. All right, good stuff. So someone's asking the key of the song. We're in the key of G today. Key of G. All right, so that's what's happening there. I do want to mention that pivot point because that is really cool, and we see it a couple times here in this song. So let's start from the intro. Let's do a verse and let's do a chorus. All right, so here you go, folks. Verse. We're going to repeat this 2 more times. Okay, last time. To our chorus. that's what's happening there. So let's go ahead and look at verse 2. So the chord structure going to be a little bit different. Don't worry, the chords are still fun, easy to play. Don't worry. So what we're going to do here is verse 2 is going to sound like this, okay? I'll play through the whole second verse. It's going to sound like this. Then we get into the chorus from there. So here is the structure of this second verse, okay? So verse 2 and verse 3, they're going to be the same structure, okay? So verse 1 was the only one that was a little bit different, okay, which I love. I think it's so cool. So we've got G, E minor, C, G over B to A minor, okay? Then we do G to E minor, to C, to G over B, but instead of an A minor, we're going to play a D chord, okay? So this repeats. Then we do G, E minor, C, G over B, A minor, and then again, G, E minor, C, G over B to D, okay? So that's what's happening there. That's what's happening in verse 2. All right. So let's go ahead, play through that nice and slowly here, and I'll go ahead. I'll commentate the chords, and then we'll do another pass without the commentary. Okay. So here we go. Verse 2, G, E minor, C, G over B, A minor, G, E minor, C, G over B, D, G, E minor, C, G over B, A minor, G, E minor, C, G over B, D, into the chorus, okay? Chorus is the same. Don't worry about it, okay? So that's what's happening there, all right? So let's go ahead and do this. Let's get into a chorus, and then let's do verse 2, okay? So here we go, chorus into verse 2. Verse 2. D chord. Get into the chorus. Pretty cool stuff, right? So yeah, I noticed when I was listening back, because I have Andrew here saying that's interesting, I've always played the second verse chords as the same as the first verse. I know, I did too, and then by looking back, I'm like, oh my gosh. And listening to some of the stuff, I'm like, it's a little bit different. That's kind of cool. I love that. So after that, after verse 2, we go into a chorus. Chorus is going to stay the same. Then we have this instrumental part that happens that sounds like this. It's 3 chords, okay? So, E minor, C, and D. That's what's happening there, but notice how the strumming's a little bit different here, right? It's a little bit more percussive. Okay, so let's talk about that. Play this nice and slowly here. Again, notice how my arm, I like to strum from the elbow. Again, if you're more of a wrist player, you can go ahead and do that, okay? So, notice how we're only getting those. We're only playing the chords every once in a while. I'm going to do that nice and slowly here. Try to follow along with this E minor. I'm only going to stick to the E minor. So see how we've got this? We got this up, down. These up, down, up, where we kind of mute, right? We're not hearing a chord. Right? So chord 1, 2, 3. Isn't that great? Just like that. Okay, so that's what's happening with that E minor. And then we go to C. C to D. I like to start that C on an upstroke. And then down, up, down for that D chord. Okay, so. So the strumming's a little bit different here, but it is really cool and percussive, all right? So let's go ahead and do that again. I'm going to do it nice and slow. Fun. So slow and steady with this. Sometimes when I play this, notice how I was muting with the hand. If you find that that helps you do it in between those parts, as long as you can get back to that E minor nice and cleanly, feel free to go ahead and mute that. See what I mean? Or you can leave it there. This is something you can do too. Is just lift the chord. See, I get kind of like a deadened sound. That's cool too. Okay. So again, planting the seeds, leaving that up to you. All right. Have fun with this part. This part's really, really fun to do. All right, so here's what we're going to do here. Let's go ahead. Let's do verse 2 into a chorus into this instrumental to give it a little bit of context. All right, so here we go. Verse 2, chorus, instrumental. Okay, so here we go. Verse 2. cool? I just love playing this song. It's such a fun one. So that's what's happening there. From there, after we do that instrumental, we get to verse 3, okay? So verse 3 is the same as verse 2. Same chords, everything, all right? So from there, we get into a final chorus, okay? So this final chorus, let's see, around like the 320-ish mark, I think is what I had here. Yeah, that final chorus. So it's gonna sound something like this. Little bit different. He throws in that 6th chord, that E minor. So it brings about this little bit, right? Whenever we hear a minor chord, it kind of turns the tone a little bit more blue, right? A little bit more sad. That's the magic of those minor chords, okay? So let me talk about the order in which the chords are happening here. So we have G to C to D to G. Same as the regular chorus. Then we go to C, to D, E minor, C, to D, to G. Then, what's different here, instead of going C, D, G, he does C, D, E minor, right? We're sad, we're wrapping this up, the song's almost over, so he's changing that one chord. I think it's just great. So we do this C, D, E minor, C, D, E minor. Okay, that happens twice. Then we go from C to D to G. We're going to do that again. C, D, to G. Right? So just like that. Okay? So I'm going to play through this. Okay, I know it's probably a lot to remember. I'll do a pass where I call out the chords, all right? And then I'll do a pass where we just do it together, okay, without the commentary. All right, so here we go. This is the final chorus, G. C, D, G. C, D, E minor. C, D, So we've got that down. All right, let's see how good your retention is. Let's go ahead and do it without the commentary. Here we go. Final chorus. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what's happening there. So let's go ahead and do this. Again, to give this a little bit more context, let's do an instrumental, right? The instrumental break. Let's do a verse 3, and let's get into this final chorus, okay? So we'll do those parts. Again, I always encourage you with all of these riff rundowns, be sure to listen to the original and get an idea of like the feel of everything. There's always, you know, there's always something cool to learn when you listen back to the original as well. And I try and break it down the best I can, and I enjoy all all of you being here and hanging out with me and playing some fun tunes. It's always good stuff. And something I do want to mention too before we get into this next bit of it is I read the comments as I do these lessons. I just love the camaraderie and all of the good vibes that are happening in this chat here. I love how all of you guys are like helping each other and just being really kind to one another and uplifting. Like, I just love that. So thank you all for being so cool and so nice to each other. Again, music's here to lift all of us, you know? So I love seeing all the positivity in the chat. So thank you all for that. You guys are great. All right, so let's go ahead and do the instrumental into verse 3, into the final chorus, then we'll break down the outro. All right, and then we're done for the day, folks. So again, if you guys are having fun, be sure to subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. You can check me out on AngelaPetrillimusic.com. And to see all the cool stuff that Fishman is doing, click the link in the video description. It's good stuff. All right, here we go. Instrumental, verse 3, final chorus. Verse 3. So immediately into this, after we play that G chord that's in the final chorus, okay? We're gonna go ahead and do this. Love the ending of this song, and it's reminiscent of that instrumental too. You kind of get a little whisper of that back again. I love the foreshadowing of that instrumental, and then we see it again in the outro. Really, really cool, awesome, clever, wonderful songwriting. Bob was great. So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna do a C chord, okay, to a G over B, okay. Ignore that middle finger. There it is, like that. Okay, A minor. Now, to the best of my ear, this is what that last chord sounds like to me. It sounds like a D7 over A. Okay, so what is that? How do we play it? So you're gonna get your first finger here, that's C, on the first fret of that B string, okay? Your second finger reaching up to the second fret of that G string, that's A, and then your third finger is going to play F sharp on the second fret of the E string. Now, if this were a regular D7, we would just strum it from the open D string, like that. But I'm hearing an A in there, at least when I was listening back to a couple versions, it sounds like it's a D7 over A to me. So that's what I'm hearing. I know yeah, that's what I'm hearing, okay? So here's that outro again. I'll do it a little bit slowly here. Like that. And it's a hard stop with that D7 over A. So use that part of your hand here to mute the strings, like that. Makes it a really cool, like, abrupt ending, which I love. So we've got C over C. So to G over B, okay? C, G over B. Then we have our A minor, A, C, E. Those are our target points, right? Our 1 fret. Flat 3 and 5. So, talking about that strum. Downward stroke on that A minor. And then we have that again. That upstroke mute, downstroke mute. Okay, notice how I kind of alternate it. See what feels comfortable for you. I know sometimes alternating it for me feels a little bit more natural. See how every other, like sometimes I'll start the A minor with a downstroke and other times I'll start it with an upstroke. That feels good to me, but again, see what feels good to you. Okay, and then we get into that D7 over A. So, down, up, down, up, down. And just stop it. Mute it, again, with that heel of the hand. Let's do that again. And see how I'm doing that with my wrist? You could, if you wanted it really big, do it with the full arm, right, with the elbow. Okay, so I'll leave that up to you. All right, so let's go ahead here. Let's do it from the instrumental. I'll do half of verse 3, and then the full final chorus, and then the full outro. And folks, we are done for the day. Again, if you're enjoying these lessons, be sure to subscribe to the channel, Angela Petrilli Music, on YouTube. You can follow me on Instagram, on Facebook, Twitter, all of that good stuff. There's lots of cool stuff in the works. I cannot announce certain things yet, but there are some really cool things. I got some fun shows coming up. I'm really, really excited about what this summer is shaping up to be. Some cool stuff. Cannot wait to announce it, so be sure to keep up with me on my website and all of my social media so you can be the first to know some news. There's some cool stuff in the works, folks. Very, very excited about it. All right, so let's go ahead. Instrumental, half of verse 3, all of the final chorus, and the outro. All right, so here we go. Verse 3, we're gonna only do half. Into our final chorus. Outro. There it is. That is the tune. That is the tune. So that's Redemption Song by Bob Marley. So, so fun. Glad to hear that everyone's enjoying this. Yay! Awesome. People are like, yes, I could finally play this song. So, so happy to hear this, everyone. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And again, I saw some folks that said, hey, if I want to play along and sing this, but the key of G isn't the right key for me, what can I do? Grab a capo. If you want to make it easy, say the key of A, for example, might be easier, but you want to stick to these same chords. Just put a capo on the 2nd fret and then play these chords as usual. If you need it lower, you would have to transpose. So if say you wanted to play it in the key of F, you have to bring all of these chords back a whole step. All right, so that's transposition. It's super fun. I did see that question come up a couple times here, so I did want to address that. Yeah, this is such a fun song. I am so thrilled all of you enjoyed it and learned something cool. Again, my name is Angela Petrilli. Next week, I will be pre-recorded. It's gonna be a fun song. It's, what was the hint I gave? It talks about the weather. That's my hint. It talks about the weather. So that is my hint I'm gonna give to you guys. Have your acoustic guitar in standard tuning for that one. You will need it. So yes, so I will be pre-recorded next week, but I will see you guys the following week. Again, as always, wishing you so much success in your musical journey. Thank you all for being so cool and so nice to one another and just awesome. So thank you all again. You want to check out more about me, be sure to check out my website, angelapetrillimusic.com. Sign up to my, my email blasts. Usually I let you guys know first all of the good news, heads up on tickets, all of that good stuff. Let's just say it's going to be a busy summer. So those of you in the Los Angeles area, surrounding area, things are going to be very fun around here. It's going to be great. So thank you again for tuning in. This is super fun. I'll be pre-recorded next week. Play lots of music. Wishing you much success. And folks, I will see you soon. Take good care.